Welcome to Fretboard Roadmap Week 8. This is Fretboard Roadmap CAGED edition, and we are going through the basic caged shapes all the way up and down the neck, and we're learning how to use them in a creative and musical context each week. Actually every other week. The first week we work with a new shape, and then we work on combining that shape creatively with the previous shape. And starting this week and into the following lessons in this course, all of the shapes are going to be fair game when we start creating, except the D shape this week. But then next week we'll be working with the D shape, and you'll have that under your belt as well. Already have a comment here. Oh no. No, thank you for the interaction. I'm guessing this is from Condors. This is great. I love the interaction. I love the questions. And what's great about the questions is it actually helps me get a gauge for where everybody is, because you might ask a question and then someone else might ask a question building off of your question. And without your guys' questions, without your guys' interaction, I really have no idea where everybody is. So I could be teaching with absolutely no context for where the group is. So I really appreciate the questions. Ask away. Even if you feel like it's off topic, still ask it anyway, because it's huge in being able to get a gauge for where everybody's at. Speaking of interaction, I did a consult with a guy named Benjamin. I guess it's several months ago. And he's been taking this course, and the supplemental content has all been tabbed in downloadable Guitar Pro format for everybody, which is super awesome. I love Guitar Pro. I love presenting in Guitar Pro because you can like play along with it, and super awesome. But Benjamin took it upon himself to make neck diagrams of every single caged scale position, every single caged pentatonic position, and every single caged arpeggio. And he sent those to me just in time for tonight. And so I wanted to, we'll still consult the Guitar Pro, but I wanted to present this to you guys in video form, and then we'll see about getting it uploaded to the forums or uploaded to the actual supplemental content of the course, so that you guys can take advantage of this. Neck diagrams are awesome. They're awesome because you get to see the whole thing in one, you're looking at a guitar neck with dots on it. It's not this linear follow tab sort of arrangement. So pretty awesome. So what he did all of the scales on one PDF, all of the arpeggios, all of the scales, all of the pentatonic scales in one PDF, which is super handy, and I love it. So let's go ahead and look at those now. Here is this is the scales one, and we'll start up here. We'll just do a review using these. You can see the chord is outlined. Here's the C chord. And these neck diagrams are great because they highlight the root. Here are our roots. Here's the scale. They also give you the scale degrees, which is super awesome. And there are open strings included here that aren't highlighted, but that's totally fine. We'll just have to root, second on the A string, third, fourth, fifth, open, sixth, seventh, open, root, 2, 3, open, 4, 5. We're going to go through all the shapes except for D on these, reviewing. Super convenient to see them all in one place. So there's the C shape. Scale again. And what's neat, you can see the things highlighted, but you can also see the interval, perfect fifth, perfect fourth, major seventh, etc. It is super awesome to be able to see that visually while you're playing the notes, because you get this sense of, oh, you know, root third, cool, okay, root third, root fourth, fantastic for ear training. Root, you get to know where your roots are right off the bat. Really cool. Okay, let's go on to the A shape. A shape, root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. The cool thing about this also is you can see that alternate shape that we never really tabbed out previously. By looking at the diagram, you can get a feel, you can see the intervals, so you can kind of make up your own position off of a particular root. And if you look here at this A shape, we talked about this when we were covering A, we don't have to play the third here on the 7th fret as it's highlighted. We can do root, second, third on the 2nd fret, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. See what I did there? I'm following the diagram. Even though not all those notes are highlighted, I'm using this subposition. But the one that we tabbed is the one that he has highlighted. Root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, root. I stuck closer to the 3 on a string scale because the original course capitalized on the 3 on a string scales. So there is the A shape. Now remember, these are all in C. We're experimenting with this root, C root, this C root, and eventually this C root. The C and the A shapes are based off of your 3rd fret root, or your, well, let's just call it your 5th string root. The C and the A shapes are based off of your 5th string root. Your G and E shapes are based off of your 6th string root, and your D shape is actually based off of your 4th string root. Looking at the G shape scale, root up here on your 8th fret, and even though those lower notes aren't highlighted, you can see the intervals and you can choose to play them. And the E shape. This is as far as we've gone so far, the E shape down at the bottom here. Same root, right? They share the same root. And that's as far as we'll go today with the scales. Well, with all of them, because we haven't covered the D shape. That's next week. Looks like we have a couple questions here. How does the minor stuff fit in? Well, that's a good question. We're not going to get into the minor stuff, the minor caged positions in this course. The minor stuff's a bit tricky because minor really is based off of major. It's a whole other, that might be something for the next course. Because minor, for example, this pentatonic pattern, we're playing this in, we're calling this a G shape C pentatonic, or a G-shape C pentatonic pattern. One more time. Right? But if we start from A and we play the same thing, we can call it a G-shape A minor. Or you could even call it an E minor. That it just gets all screwed up because this looks more like this, but this. So the caged, long story short, the caged system is a way of describing major stuff, major chords, major scale, major arpeggios. You can derive minor things from it, and we'll look some at that, but it's a way of organizing major chords, major scales, and major arpeggios. I hope that makes sense. There really isn't an equivalent for minor shapes, largely because the minor shapes are derivative. If you look at, for example, well, let's just do it real quick. We have C, A, G, E, and D, right? So let's take a look at C. How do we make C major minor? We lower the third a half step. So there is a way to play, you know, we could bar that shape, and we could say, okay, here and here and here. Oops. Like this. And then we have this going on right there, but look at how that's not a feasible shape to play, and it's actually derivative off of a different shape, which I'll show you in a second. A major, easy, go to A minor, right? That's its own shape. G major to G minor. It would be something like this. Which again, when you look at barring that, isn't very feasible. So most people just do that when they play G minor, which is a derivative of an E, right? Of an E shape. And then of course E to E minor, D to D minor. So you could play that, you could bar that, and a lot of people will do that. So all that to say, there are patterns for it, but generally caged is used for describing major stuff, and then you derive the minor from that as opposed to learning it as a sort of a separate system. I hope that makes sense. I read some stuff online that they say to teach 3-note per string rather than use caged. I'm going to text wrap this so I can read the whole thing. Text wrap. Right, there we go. I read somewhere online that they say to teach 3 notes per string rather than use caged. Why would they say that? Well, online is full of a bunch of weirdos, right? Like, we did both, right? We did a whole series on Fretboard Roadmap Cage, or Fretboard, yeah, we did one on caged, and we did one on 3 notes per string. So we've done both. I don't think you should do one instead of the other. That's a stupid idea. You should do both. They're both just different ways of getting to the same place, which is understanding your neck and being able to utilize different shapes to play creatively. Saying, don't use caged, use 3 notes per string, is kind of like saying, you know, don't use your 4-door sedan to drive up into the mountains, but do use your pickup truck to drive up into the mountains. They're just different vehicles to get to where you want to go. Caged is an incredibly detailed, awesome way to look at the guitar neck. I love it. Are not minors blues notes in a blues type application? Yes. Well, sort of. Minor, we're gonna go over a little bit of blues stuff, but really, when we're organizing in terms of CAGED, particularly the major scale, we don't want to throw too many things into the mix. For example, I could take this CAGED position scale, this one that I've been talking about, you know, which is the G-shaped C major pentatonic. I could play that in its relative minor, which would be the minor shape. And I could which would be having the minor third in there, which is what makes it minor. And then I could put in the blue note, which would be 1, flat 3, 4, flat 5. I could do that, but that's sort of outside the scope of what we're trying to get across in the course, right? One thing I've learned about these courses is that if I try to include too much information, we don't accomplish learning anything. So adding the blue note, working with minor versions of these patterns is really more of a modal discussion, which actually we're doing in an hour on making modal melodies, and I've done that a lot. So when you talk about making these positions work in the minor context, you're actually talking about modal stuff, which in some ways we went over, well, actually in a lot of ways, we went over in Fretboard Roadmap, the original, and then again in the precursor, or the modal course following Fretboard Roadmap, Modes Made Easy, and we're working on that a little bit more. We also cover adding in chromatic approaches like the blue note, like the major and the minor seventh at the same time. So I hope this makes sense. It's not that I don't want to answer these questions, and I feel like I am answering these questions, but I don't want to go. The reason that this course doesn't specifically address those things, and we stick to learning the major shapes, is because we want to focus on this, and then we'll do another course on those areas of focus. In fact, I have done other courses on those areas of focus. If you want to look at major scale positions and making them minor, check out Modes Made Easy, or Making Modal Melodies, the first part of that we've worked on both of those. You can also check out the original Fretboard Roadmap, because we talk about how to take 3-in-a-string scale patterns and use them in different modes, even though we don't call them modes at that point. Hope that makes sense. Okay. CAGED doesn't lend itself to minor, but the insights you get from the chord to scale connection from CAGED can be transferred to minor. This is absolutely correct. That is the best way to say it right there. Once you learn these positions and you get a handle on where your different notes are located, it's easy to port this stuff over to minor. All right, let's do a quick review of the arpeggios and the pentatonic patterns. We'll do the arpeggios first. C shape. Or if you want to go all the way up here, it's just an octave higher. That's the coolest shape, I think. It's great. A shape, 3rd fret, 2nd line. And of course that shape, if you change the root, can be moved anywhere. The G shape, key of C, the E shape, good stuff. Now let's look at the pentatonic shapes. Super handy. C shape. And I'll go ahead and play the chord after each one of these. Oops. A shape. Root. G shape. G chord shape there. Root here. And finally, at the very bottom here, we have the E shape. See the chord outlined there. So super awesome of Benjamin to make these. Hopefully that you found that beneficial in the review and being able to look at those in neck diagram shape. I really like it, or neck diagram format. Looks like we're good on questions. Now, and what we've been doing is we've been learning a pattern and then we've been focusing on creating with it, which is fun. Here is the context that we have for this week. So we've got two different sections, and then they sort of repeat themselves. But here's our A section. So we need to figure that out. And if you've been with us for any amount of time, you know this is how we do it. First we want to figure out the key. Da 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 da. That's my one. We're in. Sounds like we're in B flat. Okay, so we've got B flat, or you could call it A sharp, but I'm going to call it B flat. B flat, C, E flat, F. We go low on the bass. That's what my root's doing. Let's make sure that we know what we're doing for the rest of that A section. Okay, we're looking at the B section now. Listen to that again. I'm having trouble hearing. It goes to another note there. Ah, it goes to the 5. Okay. So what we're doing there, we're hanging on the B flat note, and we're cementing it as a major chord because we're going 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 3 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 3, and then we go to an F. So 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 5. Okay, so if I were to play root notes or play along with the bass for this whole, for both sections. Then okay, so we pretty much know what's going on. Let's, as far as root notes, let's look at chord qualities. I'm gonna guess it's, we've talked about major scale harmony before. If you're unfamiliar with this, last week we talked about major scale harmony some, and we talked about, and in Making Modal Melodies, we've talked a lot about major scale harmony. But I'm pretty sure what we've got is a major 1, minor 2, major 4, major 5, and then in the B section, like that. Now we're using all, right here I'm just using the E shape bar chord, E shape minor, and then A shapes, which we've gone over all that stuff so far. Let's play along and see. Yep. Yep. That's right. So, but that's boring, right? The whole reason we're doing Fretboard Roadmap Cage is because we don't want to be one of those guitarists that just does this. No, we want to be unique. We want to utilize these caged positions. So let's get our bearings in terms of specifically the G and the E shapes for this week. And we'll work on tones and all that stuff too. But if we want to look at our G shape first, here's our root. So we're doing our G and our E shapes. They share this root, which means we have right there, that's our G shape, right? And all that goes with it. You know? Right, there's our G shape, and we have our E shape in the key of B flat. We have that wonderful triad, this top end. The arpeggio, scale, of course. And go back to the G shape. Back up to the E shape. So that's the playground that we're primarily focusing on for this week. Super fun. And if you've been with us for any amount of time, you know that it's not about just playing chords. It's about utilizing shapes within shapes in order to make this really awesome. So let's see what we can come up with. Now, first of all, I feel like this sound, we really need like something in there needs to be sort of punk rock, high gain, you know. So let's do some things here. Have a little bit of fun. I don't know, maybe well, this looks like a neat pedal. Ugh. Now, it's okay to have like one power chord sort of thing, right? Those are fair game, so long as we diversify. I kind of like that thing. A lot of noise, but that's okay. Open up the guitar a little. Let's go to our amp. I don't want as much reverb, or any reverb. Let's lay down a power chord bed using the A, E, and A shapes. Yeah, let's try something, and then we'll get more into specific G and A detail lines. Ooh, it might be kind of cool to open it up there on the... My part's too loud. Bring it down a little bit. Let's try it again. And we'll just do that because it repeats after that. Clean this up a little. Let's double it. Give it a nice good punk rock sound. One on the left, one on the right. And let's do something a little different with the tone. Let's go back to the pedal board. I don't know, maybe make this one even crunchier and darker. Why not? Oh, you know, that one goes up. I'll go down on this one. Actually, I'll play this in a different... Technically a D shape. I really want to utilize that though, so maybe... Yeah, we'll utilize the D shape there. It just gives it a different tone. Okay, let's listen back. We have our bedrock rhythm, and now we can start to have fun with some parts that are more caged in nature and inspirational. get rid of some of this. And we'll go ahead and loop this, or duplicate it so we have a little bit more to play with. I love that bass movement. We gotta do something with the guitar there. And that B section. Oh, it sounds like we have one more up, like A section here. So we'll go ahead and finish this out here, and then we'll end it while we're using our tone. Here, we'll go back here, and so there as our first take. So we want a good ending there. And then we want another one here. And that was on this one. Okay. Clean that up a little here. Fade, fade. Get rid of the buzz. Okay. Listen to that ending just to be sure. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now we really get to start experimenting with these caged shapes. I'm going to duplicate my track. And we want a little something different sounding. I like that rhythm sound, but we don't need that for the leads or the textures. Back off the gain there, and that pedal is really awesome, but maybe not this. Maybe this. I have a feeling we're going to be using this. That little trunk of the G shape. And maybe this. That triad. Something. Let's see how that works. Remember, we're in G. Well, we're not in G. We're in the G shape and the E shape. We're in B flat. But it's really up to us to be creative with how we use these shapes that are available to us within the CAGED system. This is why the CAGED system is so powerful. When we learn this scale, we also have access to this triad, to this arpeggio, to the pentatonic scale. So we can phrase around that in ways that we wouldn't really be able to if we were just thinking, oh, I'll use this scale. And you just have to kind of experiment with, we know we're in the key of B flat, so we know that B flat notes are fair game. You just have to experiment with what shapes work within the rhythmic context, within everything that we're doing. So let's turn this up a bit and let's experiment with some sort of higher rhythmic line. I'm going to start with this triad. I'm going to let this triad inspire me a little. See what we can come up with. Okay, so right away we do the minor form of it. Or Huh, we could do this form too. I'm gonna work with this a little bit more. Ah. Okay, so neat, kind of a happy accident. When I'm doing this triad, doing those two notes, and then we go, ah. So this right here, that's part of a G shape. Right? See that? So we can utilize both of those shapes if we want to. Very easily come up with or do something like that, where we're utilizing the G shapes of each chord and the notes within the scale, right? I'm using the pentatonic, the full pentatonic shape along with this part of the chord. Powerful stuff. This is the CAGED system right here. It's not just a bunch of scales. So we're developing our part and we're being inspired by the CAGED system. Really neat. I don't think it's quite there yet, but let's keep trying. I like that. I like the use of this. But maybe we just strum. Maybe we just strum here. Give our ears a little bit of a break. And then maybe we walk down like at the top. Ooh, give ourselves room to go back down to our one though. Let's try that. I like that. Let's listen. It wasn't perfect, but I love it. Except for that mistake. We'll get it though. Fits perfectly. It's a nice layer, a nice texture, and we did it with the CAGED system. Let's get it right. And we have a different part altogether, right? Listening? I don't think that needs double either. Now here, maybe this part needs to just... where are we? We're here. Maybe it just needs to open up in a way that, yeah, it needs to open up. Maybe even we do something like this. Put a little tremolo on it. So I duplicated the track, and let's go. Fine. Stereo tremolo. And no width. Actually, that might sound fine. Let's try it. No, that's weak. How about we do a different tremolo pedal? Dual mono. There we go. We want it to be mono sounding. And we want it to be faster. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay. Bring that up a little bit. And just let it ride. Maybe we just need the one chord. I'm focusing on the high end part of the chord, right? Well, how can we... That's what we want. We want just the high stuff. Two shapes again, right? And then we need another part that capitalizes on that melody. But we don't want the tremolo on. And we want it to be a bit more obnoxious. So we'll go over here to the pedal board. And we'll put the compressor in front of it. Turn that on. Turn the sustain up a little bit. Quack out the guitar a little. We want more than that. Maybe that should be a fuzz. Let's do a fuzz. Go here. Fuzz machine. Totally. Okay, now what am I doing here? If we're gonna do there's our E shape. Is that a good way to play that? In that position? It works. What about the G shape? I think it's better in the E shape. A little bit more separated. And then we've got our root right there for our 5 chord. Or we could go up. I think we should keep it single notes. But you see what we did? We chose a scale position based on ergonomics, based on how it's going to help us play. Let's give it a try. Make sure we got the compressor, we got the fuzz, we don't have the other drives on. Save. And let's give it a try. Listen. Sounding kind of cool. Get rid of some of this trash here. sounding pretty awesome so far. I wonder if we ought to try a harmony using one of our scale patterns to that. It's, you know, 90s punk rock sorta, so we'll pan one here, and so we were doing this based out of our E shape. Maybe that, okay, so that'd be a nice like third harmony, but would that, but this is actually better played in the G shape. A little bit more natural sounding. Kind of cool. So we're utilizing different patterns based on the ergonomics of the situation, based on how it enables our playing. That's how you choose your shape. Okay, let's work on or. Oh, I like that. Back up a little, have a little more time to get into it. I rushed a little bit there. Let's try it again. There's my note. We could even get a little bit more a little fun with that. Listening. Let's clean it up a little. Get rid of our input. We want the harmony to be behind the main line. And then, of course, you know, we could loop this or add other parts there, but let's listen to this from its beginning. We got this little slide in there, which is neat. From the very beginning. I like the tremolo in that part. And maybe your singer comes in, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, so this is the cool thing about the CAGED system, right? You don't. It's great for soloing, and we've covered that in other lessons. This particular style, you know, lends itself to those simple kind of one-liner phrases. And you can hear and you can see what we're doing. We're borrowing from different positions. We're giving ourselves permission to use these patterns, the scales, the arpeggios, and I used all those things, pentatonics. We're giving ourselves permission to utilize them as tools for creativity. That's it, within a musical context. Fun stuff. I'm going to check in with some questions. Doesn't look like any questions. I'll wait around for just a second while you guys, if you wanted to ask any more. Otherwise, guys, this has been great. It's always fun. Thank you so much for the questions at the beginning. And also, I hope you've gotten a great taste of how simple using the CAGED system can be. Next week, we're going to work on the D shapes, and then the final week we'll be creating with all the shapes. All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.